So initial impressions on this Ocean Rodeo Ignite Drysuit is I had it out today for, I don't know, I did 3 or 4 miles, give or take. Absolutely love it. It's surprisingly breathable. I was really kind of concerned about that. That was one of my major concerns. It definitely, I was definitely sweating, had the heart rate up, and able to kind of evaporate through the suit itself, which was shocking. The fit and the finish on it, I'm super happy with it. The stitching is all really nice. All of the Velcro pulls for the for the sleeves, all that good stuff. Super nice. Very rugged. I wouldn't worry about something pulling off or anything like that. One-handed hood cinch, which was nice. I really didn't need the hood today, but I did put it on just to try it. It fits without a beanie or whatever kind of head wear that you're wearing. It zips up pretty tight. I have some video of it. It buttons up pretty good, and when you're buttoned up and you have the neck seal on, you feel very secure. The suit feels secure, but not restricting in any sort of way. I was really in my head. I was in my head comparing it to wetsuits I've worn in the past, which I've always hated wearing wetsuits, getting in and out of them, and just in general, I'm just not a wetsuit fan. So that's kind of was the bar in my head, and this far exceeded that. I'm extremely pleased with it. The standby feature of it, probably the most awesome feature. A couple times I got out of the boat to grab a camera to take some video, and I was able to pop that off. Vent, not that I really needed to, but vent the suit a little bit, and zipping it up and getting it on and off was super easy. So I'm really pleased with it so far. So I'm gonna get out of this thing. We'll lay it out and we'll go through some of the the features and some of the the major points for me that were pluses that I maybe wasn't expecting, or maybe not expecting to be such a big deal to me. So let me get this thing off and we'll take it from there. All right, so like I said before, this is the Ocean Rodeo Ignite Drysuit. I just got this for kayaking. That was its main purpose. Maybe to do some other things on the water and kind of inclement weather, but overall this is going to be for kayaking. Like I said before, the reasoning for me kind of going with this was the pant and jacket style of drysuit here. It doesn't look, when you have it on, it really doesn't look like a drysuit. It doesn't look like anything super out of the ordinary. So I like that about it, and I like that it that it has this kind of outer shell that kind of, like I said before, it kind of looks like a Gore-Tex outer shell rain jacket, or like something like that. Kind of has that look, or snowboarding jacket. So I really dig that. So but just kind of running through it, I guess we'll go from the top to the bottom. So the top, it has a removable neoprene hood with drains in it. Personally, myself, I probably my head wouldn't get too wet other than spray, but these are kind of, they're designed really kind of around kite boarders. The company Ocean Rodeo, they sell kite board accessories and stuff like that. So that's kind of what this is designed around. But a lot of people use them for other things as well. So that kind of attracted me to it as well, because if you come off of a kite board at speed and one of these and you stay dry, then that's a pretty good sign, because those guys get moving pretty quickly. But so it's got drains in the back, one-handed cinch, so that when you're on the water real quick, you can pull. starts on one of these sides. You can pull real quick and tighten the hood around. And it also has an adjustment in the back to kind of pull it forward. You know, if you had a helmet on, if you were whitewater kayaking or doing something, you know, on the deck of a boat that required, you know, a helmet, you know, it's definitely compatible with that. The hood is removable. It's got a super high collar. I really like this. I'll roll in some video of when I zipped it up. I mean, but when it's zipped up and you're in it, I mean, it really, it covers your face and it really keeps you, you feel very protected from the elements when it's completely zipped up. So I really like that. Super high quality. It's nice and soft. I don't know if that's, it's like a really soft neoprene around the edge, so it doesn't, you know, doesn't irritate your neck or anything like that. So that's you know, pretty cool. Also, let's see here, you know, it's got some snaps, or it has one snap for, I guess that's to keep the zipper from coming back down on you. An external pocket, just really kind of small. It does have a lanyard or a little bungee loop in there so you can attach keys or whatever, maybe a whistle or something like that, you know, some sort of emergency gear or something like that. Neoprene hand warmer zipper pockets. These are nice. They're definitely, it's nice to have pockets if you are out of the boat and in standby mode. Keep in mind, none of these are waterproof on this outer shell. So whatever you put in them, you want to make sure that it can, you know, can withstand the water. Now, you know, I had my phone today with me on the first voyage, in the pocket here, and I was not worried about it getting wet, but it was a pretty calm day. If I was out in the bay or in the ocean or something like that, I would definitely have it in, you know, life-proof case or some sort of, you know, small Pelican case or something that was 100% waterproof. So, let's see, moving on from that, you know, the sleeves on it with the nice Velcro adjustments. These adjust way down. They're really nice. They're super sturdy. They feel. I like the fact that they're actually ran and sewn, or they slide inside the sleeve itself, so you don't have a bunch of this hanging out to get caught on anything, which is super nice. You know, getting in and out of the kayak or with anything else. If you were, you know, I'm assuming if you were kiteboarding or if you're on a boat or something, you don't want to be able, you know, to snag on stuff as you're moving around. So that's a good thing. And let's see, moving down, or we'll go inside here. So this outer zip, I guess it is water resistant. I don't think it's waterproof. I'd have to look at the specs, but this is kind of a water resistant zipper. So it does keep up, you know, if conditions were getting rough, that would keep a good majority of water off of you by itself. So we unzip it. It's a pretty beefy zipper. You definitely know that you're unzipping you know, some sort of suit here. It does have a port for MP3 player or headphones to string through this pocket right here. Like I said, it would need to be waterproof. So here's kind of the coolest part. So it has this, you know, this Drysuit material, and this jacket, the way that it's kind of, or the shell, the way that it's kind of sewn on, it kind of makes you think that it's a jacket over top of it. And it's a cool way to do it. They really did a good job as far as laying it out and everything. But so the major feature of this guy is going to be this zipper here. It's a you know, 100% waterproof zipper as long as you know, maintain it, and then when you pull it, it has to kind of lock in a little like notch here to totally waterproof it. But this whole thing unzips, and it zips around the back of the neck, and so that's how you don the suit. You fold this down, you slide it in, and put the sleeves on, stick your hands through, and that's it. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I really don't know what I was expecting. I was expecting it to be a lot harder to get into, and it was just, after I got into it and kind of got situated, it was one of these things where I was just like, well, that was easy. So that was definitely a plus. The zipper, you definitely can zip this by yourself. It does take a second. They say that this is a really easy suit to get in and out of, so I'd hate to be in a suit that was tougher than this to get into. That would definitely be kind of rough. But you know, their kind of you know, the Ocean Rodeo's design with this kind of standby setup. So you know, when you're getting ready to put in you know, at a boat ramp or something like that, your neck seal can be off and this can be folded down and the jacket zipped up. And that's nice. You don't have the seal around your neck. You're venting any sort of excess heat or anything if you're, you know, moving stuff, dragging your boat around, whatever that you're doing. That's a really, really nice feature that I don't think that most people realize that they would use that. Just on my first use of it, I used it 3 or 4 times today. So it was really, really nice. That was definitely, at this point, even after using this just for you know, one you know, short kayaking session, I would probably not do it any other way. It's definitely, you know, that's definitely kind of, in my mind, the way to go. And of course, I watched a few reviews on this particular suit and some other Ocean Rodeo stuff, so I was kind of familiar with their design, but seeing it in person and using it in practice, it works really well. So I'm very, very happy with that. So that's a huge plus. They're using, I don't know what the material is, but you know, it's a breathable material, and it's surprisingly breathed pretty well. I got my heart rate up pretty high. I was, you know, doing a little bit of sweating, and I had no problem. It had no problem evaporating. Now, I mean, you're going to be a little bit damp from sweating, but that's with anything. I mean, that's the best Gore-Tex shell that you can buy. They still don't breathe totally. So, I mean, it's a trade-off. So, and that's a trade-off that going into it, I knew, but it actually did surprisingly well with the you know, with the breathability of it. I was pleasantly surprised. You know, my expectations were a lot lower, and the quality of it was a lot higher. So that was a huge plus for me. So getting in and out of it was super easy. The middle here, it's got kind of this wader belt that keeps, as you put the suit on, you can tighten that, and it kind of keeps the suit up. And then as well, I heard or read somewhere, I can't remember, it was maybe an online review or something, that they do this as well, so that if, for whatever reason, if you are in that standby mode where this is unzipped and you're not sealed, if you were to take a dip, it would at least slow the water going down into the bottom of the suit. Now, I don't know, I mean, if you're in that much water, you're kind of in a bad way. This is really going to help. So I would say that this is really just to keep the pants up and not sagging on you, or not putting a lot of the weight on the shoulders of the jacket or the top of the actual dry suit itself. So I used that, and it worked great. No issues there. One of the buckles in the back, I think it was for that in the back. In my boat, I had to kind of adjust. I have you know, a lap or a back band style seat, and it was kind of digging into me. It just took a little bit of adjusting to get rid of that, so that wasn't a big deal. It does have cinches down at the bottom to cinch the bottom of the actual jacket portion up itself. I didn't use that today, but I could see where that would be important. I was really kind of concerned, you know, getting in and out of the boat, how this stuff would snag or any of this stuff, and it honestly, it did surprisingly well. My boat, the cockpit in it isn't super small, but it's definitely not big. It's a current design, Andromeda. I don't know the exact specs of the opening of the boat, but it's a smaller opening. It's more of a, you know, higher end boat, so they tend to have a smaller opening. So no issue there. Of course, didn't have to use the relief zipper, but that is there, and that's one of those features that having it and not needing it is better than not having it and needing it. So I'm sure there'll be a day when I do have to use that, and I will be glad that it's there. The actual pants themselves, or the bottoms of it, and it's all one piece, it's not separate, but they're super, I don't know what, actual material they're using, but it's a super rugged material. I wouldn't worry about ripping this in any sort of normal conditions. There are knee pads built in, which I really, really like. A lot of times you'll come out of your boat and you'll have to dig for something down, down in one of the hatches if you're camping or something like that. And having the knee pads there definitely helps, and it protects the actual the dry portion of the suit itself too. So that was definitely a plus. I really dig that. Moving down it's got the socks sewn in. There was a couple reasons why. This particular one, I think it comes only with socks built in. There was a couple reasons for me doing this though. One was donning the suit. I had actually contacted Ocean Rodeo and spoken, via email to one of the guys over there. I forgot his name. I think it was Colin or something. Super cool guy, very was real accommodating as far as answering questions and all of that. The customer service was great. But I asked him what his opinion was, and for me, I kayak so much, and sometimes multiple times a day, sometimes in the morning and in the evening. So I'm getting in and out of the suit a lot. So by having the socks in it and not actually having an ankle seal, it's one less point to fail, and it's super easy to get on as far as the bottom, half of it. So that was part of it. The other part was, in order for me to get into my boat without totally beating it to death, I have to have the boat out in the water some and get out roughly about knee deep, maybe a little bit less water, for me not to totally beat the bottom of my boat up. It's a Kevlar composite boat, so it's rugged, but I don't want to put any extra wear on it that I don't necessarily have to. So I physically have to get out into the water to get into my boat, get in and out of it without beating it up. So having that already built in and sealed, it was doing that for the first time was awesome. I mean, you do feel, you don't feel wet, but you do feel the water being cold. I'd have to guess that the water was probably, I was in the Northlander River here in Virginia Beach. It was probably in the mid 40s to upper 40s, if I had to guess. And I did have some shoes over this. I used the Astral Brewer kind of, I guess they're water shoes, but they don't look like typical water. They look more like sneakers. I wore those over top of this, and it worked perfect. They do say that you should wear some sort of footwear, whether it's wetsuit booties, whether it's something over this. This isn't any thinner than any of the other material, but I would imagine that this is probably a pretty high failure point. I mean, if something's gonna fail, it would be at the foot, because you're constantly, walking on it or rubbing on it or whatever. So you definitely want to use some sort of, boot or footwear with it. So I did feel, when it got in the water, it was a little cold. I did, underneath my the suit, I did have some wool socks on, this, and then the shoe over it itself, and I could feel a little bit of the cold from the water, but it was not wet. It was just the actual cold water itself. That's one advantage to something like this as opposed to a wetsuit, is going to be the fact that you can layer technical layers with this, just like you would if you were hiking or doing it in some other sort of outdoor sport. That's kind of how I dress when I do stuff outdoors. I do all the layers and am able to kind of dial in, and so you can do that with it. So, I mean, I had the air temperature today was, I think, about 48. The water was not any warmer than that, and I had just some basically like Under Armour Long John base layer kind of set up, bottoms and tops, and I did have well, actually I ended up taking the shirt off. That was all that I had underneath, along with my socks, and then this on top. And I was plenty warm. Now I could see if the wind was blowing kind of hard, or if it was any colder that I would want to layer it more, but I had plenty of room to layer it more. And that was, I sized up from the regular extra large to the extra large king just for that, because I'm the type of person that I'll go out. I mean, we've been, kayaking when it's the water has been starting to freeze, so I've definitely wanted the ability to layer and to be in pretty crummy conditions. So that was the reason for me sizing up. Lastly, all of like the piping and the logo stuff on the scuts and patches, all reflective stuff. Really good if you're doing these sort of sea kayaking, or here in Virginia or Southeast Virginia, everybody seems like has a boat. So in the summertime, or as it starts to warm up some, there's a lot of traffic. I don't do a whole lot of late night kayaking, but there's a lot of times where I'm out a little further than what I expected to be, and by the time I'm getting back to my put in, it's dark, so it's nice to have that. Also, one of the reasons for me wanting to do a little bit more or extend my season into the cold was there's a lot less boating traffic. In the summertime, most boaters are they're pretty considerate. You can tell which ones have owned boats, and then you have like the jet ski people that have no business on a watercraft, and they just kind of zigzag in. And I've been in some pretty hairy spots before, and almost got creamed a few times because of people not being considerate and not really knowing just common courtesy, and not even like rules of the water, but just common sense. I mean, stuff that you shouldn't have to teach somebody. So it's nice in the cold. When I went out today, there was not a boat on the water. That was really, really nice. And normally, here on the Northland and in the intercoastal, during the spring, summer, it is constant boats. I mean, it is up and down, up and down, up and down. So it's nice to be able to go out and not have to deal with that, and not have that, not have that worry. So that was really cool. A couple quick other things. The collar here does fold down, and it snaps into place, so you can kind of fold it out of the way, which is nice if you didn't want to have the hood. Just having it out today, I mean, time will tell as far as durability, but the fit and finish and all that I can tell right now, it's going to last. I mean, the real tedious parts of all these are always going to be the seals. They're rubber, they break down over time. You can slow that down, you can do what you can to kind of mitigate that, but it's going to happen eventually. One of these is going to rip. Ocean Rodeo does sell replacement seals, and or you take it to a dive shop, they're going to have replacement seals and be able to replace them properly for you. Supposedly it's something that you can do yourself. I kind of checked it out online. The neck seal seems like it's not bad. I don't know how these would be, but they say that as long as you take care of them, you get about 3 seasons out of them, which that's pretty good. I mean, that's really good actually for something that's rubber like that. So when you store it, you don't want to have it at somewhere where it's cold and hot all the time. You just want it somewhere where it is kind of a constant temperature and not fluctuating a whole lot. Obviously, if it was really wet, or if you took a dive in it, you wouldn't want to store the suit wet, really for mold reasons, I think. So you would want to have this open and out and let it completely dry out before storing it. There's not, other than the summertime, there's not going to be a whole lot of time where I'm going to have this like put away. That would be about it, would be in the warmer months. So I foresee myself using this quite a bit. It was nice to come right out of it, be totally dry, get through my regular pants, and honestly I could have gotten into it with what I'm wearing now. This this fleece little zip up these pants. The only reason why I didn't, and I'm probably being, just because it's brand new, being a little funny about it, but stuff like the zippers and stuff, I didn't want rubbing on any of the rubber or any of the inside of the suit itself. But so far, initial impression, really, really love it so far. I'm kind of kicking myself for not making the move to a dry suit a little bit sooner. Honestly, just wearing it one time, I'm like, man, I could have been basically kayaking all, every winter since I started, and kind of, kept going with that. But I'm super happy with it so far. Now, a big, part of this is price. I mean, it's not a cheap dry suit. None of these dry suits are cheap, and that's one of the main two downfalls that most people really have a problem with is price, and then the actual seals, the maintenance of the dry suit. I mean, it's not a whole lot, but there is a little bit of maintenance that you have to do, which I'm not the best on maintenance. I'll be the first to admit that, but paying this much for something, I will definitely maintain it properly. But this far surpasses. I mean, I put this on, got my boat, and instantly knew it was a lot better way to go than a wetsuit. 100%. There's really no comparison. This is just like wearing pants and a jacket, and a wetsuit. If you've ever been in one, it's super constricting. They're a pain to get in and out of. Some are easier than others, but they're cheaper. So that's why a lot of kayakers go that route. But for me, one of the big things was the layering portion of it for the cold. So that was kind of my main deciding factor. So, and I'm glad that was, because I'm so far I'm super happy. So in a couple months, I'm gonna obviously be using the suit quite a bit. So in a couple months, I will do kind of like a follow-up review. There was nothing really, honestly, that stuck out to me that I did not like. The only real thing that kind of caught me off guard was the buckle along the back. And like I said, I was able to just kind of move this belt kind of slides around a little bit. I was able to move that buckle out of the way. It was really prominent right in the small of my back, and so I was able to get that out of the way. That was really the only thing. I'm sure as I use it more, there'll probably be one or two things that I don't like, but first impression, really, really like it. I think it was, honestly, I think it was, for me, it was money well spent, and the only way I was able to purchase it was I had a bunch of Amazon gift cards that I collected, over the past year for birthdays and Christmas and blah blah blah. That's kind of like the standard gift that family gives me is Amazon cards. So I was able to kind of use those and then kick some money in to get it. And I've been eyeing a dry suit for quite a while, so I'm super glad I got it. So I'll keep you guys posted how well it does. There wasn't a whole lot of reviews on these things, this particular model on YouTube. So that was one of the reasons for me kind of doing a quick review. So yeah, so I'll keep you guys posted. Thanks for watching.